In this video, I'm going to show you how to finally lose that stubborn belly fat that's been living rent-free in your body all this time. And make sure to stick around for tip number 5 because it's been an absolute game changer for me, but it's also been a complete game changer to all my students who's all got to see some amazing results. It might just change your life as well. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, there are really only 5 things you need to focus on. It doesn't have to be complicated for it to be effective. First things first, you will never look at this topic the same way again after I'm done talking about it in a couple of minutes. This might be life-changing information for some people. Number 1, prioritize getting adequate and quality sleep every night. People often shrug this off, but if you want to have any chance at losing your belly fat and improve your overall health, then this is your starting point. It's also your lowest hanging fruit. This part is so critical that even if I give you the best diet advice and the best workouts on the planet, but if you don't get this part right, you're not going to see results. Any successful weight loss transformation starts and ends here. If that's news to you, that's a great indicator why you are where you're at today. Let's look at some pretty telling stats because numbers don't lie. Studies show that 30% of American adults sleep for 6 hours or less every night. Why is that important? Well, lack of sleep has a direct connection to weight gain, type 2 diabetes, and raises your risk of developing heart disease. Sleep deprivation is so detrimental that the World Health Organization has officially classified nighttime shift work as a probable carcinogen. The term "I'll sleep when I'm dead" will have a brand new meaning to you if you keep ignoring your sleep, yet we deprive ourselves of sleep all the time. According to Dr. Walker from his book Why We Sleep, insufficient sleep, roughly defined as less than 7 hours per night, moves every health metric in the wrong direction. Here's a few examples. It increases insulin resistance, a primary cause of type 2 diabetes and a concern in pre-diabetes. It increases next day hunger and reduces feelings of fullness after eating. It drives more food consumption and worse food choices. Sleep-deprived people are just more likely to eat junk food, especially high carb and sugary foods. Notice how you're always craving the worst food after a weekend bender? It makes it harder to lose weight as the body is more likely to burn muscle and hold on to fat when dieting, the complete opposite of what we want. It raises blood pressure and significantly increases the risk of a heart attack. It compromises the immune system. It negatively impacts emotion and mood. It raises the risk of depression and anxiety, and it increases the risk of cancer and Alzheimer's. All those things are caused by insufficient sleep, which again is less than 7 hours per night. Are you one of those people? One of the most compelling recent sleep studies took healthy people who had no existing signs of diabetes or blood sugar issues. The participants were limited to sleeping 4 hours a night for 6 nights. By the end of the week, it was enough to move these healthy people into the pre-diabetes range within 6 days. That's mind-boggling. Another experiment compared people who slept for 8.5 hours versus 5 to 6 hours of sleep for 10 nights. Not surprisingly, the short sleeping group ate around 300 more calories per day. What's crazy is similar changes occur on 4.5 hours of sleep in just 4 days, not 10. An extra 300 calories per day doesn't sound like a lot, but do a little math and it could easily add up to 20 pounds of weight gain per year. Here's more. A study that recorded the sleeping patterns of 9,000 people indicated that those who average only 6 hours of sleep per night were 27% more likely to be overweight than those who slept for 7 to 9 hours. It gets crazier. The participants who averaged 5 hours of sleep were 73% more likely to be overweight. In fact, lack of sleep is actually one of the strongest contributors to obesity. In one study, children and adults who were sleep deprived were 89 and 55% more likely to be obese people. All this means is that you can have the best diet and the best workouts, but if your sleep is trash, it's almost going to be impossible to lose weight. In fact, losing weight should be the least of your concerns when you see all the negative impact lack of sleep does to your body. And we can all relate to this in some way, shape, or form. Personally, when I don't get a good night's sleep, I'm a complete zombie the next day. And that's an understatement. I'm just a hot mess. Also, you can't fully recover lost sleep by catching up on the weekend. That's not how it works. It's not as simple as treating your body like a rechargeable battery. The brain can never recover all of the sleep it's been deprived of. So here's what you need to do. Captain Obvious here. Prioritize getting adequate and quality sleep every night. Ideally, anywhere between 7 to 9 hours in a cool, pitch black room with zero junk light every night. There's a reason why we evolved to sleep for a third of our lives. Now you know why. I think it was Mindy Kaling who was quoted saying, "There is no sunrise so beautiful that it's worth waking me up to see it." I couldn't agree more. Number 2, the best diet is the one you can stick to long term. There's always going to be a never-ending debate about what the best diet is for weight loss. It's almost become a religion. Honestly, the best diet is is the one you can stick to long term. Diet adherence is more important than anything. And I'm not a big fan of diet labels to begin with because people can become so dogmatic about it. I just like to stick to the science because it's an undeniable fact that we evolved as human beings 2.5 million years ago. We're still genetically identical to our Paleolithic ancestors, and they were all naturally lean and strong. They didn't suffer from modern Western diseases like diabetes, obesity, and cancer. It really only makes sense that we base our diet around how they ate. So here's a few simple guidelines to adhere regardless of whatever diet you're following. If you just follow these simple guidelines, I'm willing to bet so much money that you're gonna lose your belly fat. Let's talk big picture stuff first. We evolved to eat animals and some plants. Given the choice, our ancestors always preferred animals because it gives the human body all the essential vitamins and minerals it needs. So, sorry vegans, veganism is just a modern day human experiment anyway. Something like 90% of plants in the wild are inedible. In fact, most of them are extremely toxic. You'll die immediately if you eat them, while 100% of animals are edible. The bioavailability of nutrients from animals versus plants are also just night and day. For example, if you compare grass-fed beef liver, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, to kale, often touted as a superfood by plant-based zealots, they're not even close. Liver makes kale look like you're basically eating cardboard. With that in mind, let's dive into these guidelines. I want you to eat whole, unprocessed, single ingredient foods. We're talking eggs, steak, fish, chicken, avocado, berries, etc. Basically, eat food that you'd normally see in the wild. This is why you should never eat highly processed starchy foods like cereal. Have you ever seen a cereal tree? Next, prioritize protein. The amino acids in protein become the building blocks that your body uses to build itself from within. It is absolutely crucial that you eat enough of it. You should aim to eat 0.7 grams per pound of lean body mass. If you're really active or you're pregnant, you can eat more. Next, no liquid calories. I always like to say that what you stop eating has far more impact to your health than what you start eating, or for this instance, drinking. There's really only one truth about liquid calories. There's absolutely no redeeming qualities to them. Regularly drinking this stuff is like pouring gasoline on an already aggressive fire. They just make you fat and sick. Next, eat more natural fat. Why? Because it's extremely satiating and delicious. Things like fatty cuts of meat, avocado, nuts, butter, and cheese. And no, eating fat won't make you fat. If anything, if you're not eating enough fat, you're probably fat. Next up, drastically reduce your intake of added sugar, artificial sweeteners, refined grains, and alcohol. So no Diet Coke, don't put Splenda or stevia in your coffee. 0 calories is an absolute myth. And try not to eat so much bread, pasta, and rice every day. Also, did you know that cereal was originally invented to reduce libido? True story, look it up. When it comes to alcohol, it is literally poison that you're willingly putting in your body. That's why you get the buzz. Your body also prioritizes metabolizing alcohol because again, it's poison, so you don't die, which then inadvertently pauses the burning of all other calories. So if you eat and drink alcohol, all the calories from food immediately get stored as glycogen and eventually body fat. Beer might be the worst alcoholic offender because it also contains carbs. Hey, they don't call it a beer belly for nothing. And lastly, follow the 90-10 rule. Follow these guidelines 90% of the time and enjoy your favorite treats responsibly with the other 10%. You gotta live a little, right? Tip number 3, take a break from eating. I can count in one hand the amount of times I ate breakfast in 2020. What I mean by that is I don't eat first thing in the morning like 90% of the general population. Instead, I only eat 2 meals. One at 4 in the afternoon and another one at 7:30 at night. I'm usually done eating at around 8 p.m. Heck, sometimes I just eat one big meal. When I'm not eating, I just drink black coffee, tea, and water. That is it. This is called intermittent fasting. It's a way of scheduling your meals so that you get the most out of them, because what you eat is just as important as when you eat. And I talk about intermittent fasting ad nauseum on my channel. So if you're new, make sure to check out all my other videos about it. But here's a quick explanation of how fat loss actually works. And no, it's not just calories in versus calories out. The human body is a little more complex than that. It's more than just a mathematical equation. When you eat, assuming that it's a blend of carbs, fat, and protein, you stimulate the hormone insulin. It's the hormone that controls our body weight. Think of it as a switch for fat burning and fat storing mode. You can't do both at the same time. When you're eating, your insulin goes up. You're converting the foods that you're eating into stored energy, which means you're in fat storage mode. So high insulin then blocks fat burning. Again, insulin is the switch. When you fast, and you automatically do this when you sleep, insulin goes down and you get to take out stored energy so you don't die. But your body does this in 2 stages. It uses up stored glycogen first in your muscles and liver before it switches to burning fat, which then means you have to fast long enough to get into fat burning. The minimum effective dose here is a 16-hour fast. So you have a 16-hour fasting window and an 8-hour eating window. The easiest way to do this is to just skip breakfast to extend your fast from your sleep. The longer you go, the the better. From an evolutionary standpoint, this makes absolute sense. When food was scarce back in the Paleolithic times, our hunter-gatherer ancestors were forced to live off their stored energy, aka body fat. Your belly fat is actually stored energy. It's not just there for looks. The problem is we've been taught for decades now through authoritative parenting to do the complete opposite. We eat too much of the wrong stuff and too often. We're also in the midst of an obesity epidemic. Go figure. Listen, there is no scientific evidence that eating 6 meals a day is somehow beneficial to the human body. None. Our Paleolithic ancestors would have considered us gluttons if they found out we ate 6 meals a day. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day, especially if you're just eating highly processed starchy food. If that's you, breakfast might be the most important meal of the day for you to skip. Skipping breakfast is also an unbelievably easy way to put yourself in a calorie deficit while also moderating insulin. Now, during your fast, if you want to quickly empty out your glycogen stores and get into fat burning a lot faster, you need to follow tip number 4. You need to move. This is how we evolved as human beings. Our Paleolithic ancestors regularly walked 5 miles every day. They also swam, they climbed trees, they hiked, they lifted heavy rocks, they sprinted for short periods of time when they were hunting, and they slept a lot. I'm gonna give you the one and only concept you need to understand about physical health, in case you're one of those people who thinks you can just live your life and not work out. If you want to lose your belly fat and improve your overall health and fitness, there's literally nothing better you can do than to make yourself as physically strong as humanly possible. The best way to do this is through strength training to build lean muscle, and you don't need to do this every day. 3 times a week and you're golden. And if you're completely brand new or you haven't worked out since gym class in high school, or maybe you don't have access to a gym, that's okay. Just do bodyweight exercises at home. Honestly, that'll get you pretty far. Especially if your goal is to just have a flat stomach, maybe see some abs, and fit better into your clothes, you can accomplish all those things without ever stepping foot in a gym. And this is coming from an absolute gym rat. I am not making friends with gym owners here. Just think about people who purely do calisthenics. They look pretty good to me. Having a lot of lean muscle mass is the key driver of your metabolism. The more lean muscle mass you have, the more you get to eat. It's also a key indicator of lifespan. It's crucial during the aging process. Think about elderly people. The ones with high quality of life as they get older are the ones that aren't frail and can still take care of themselves. They can still carry their own groceries and do daily house chores. Which one would you rather be? Another key point why you need to constantly move your body is you want to avoid prolonged periods where you're completely sedentary, because nothing shuts down your fat burning metabolism faster than prolonged periods where you're just not moving. The best way to do this is to set a goal of walking 10,000 steps every day. And no, don't be tempted to go for a jog or a run because it burns more calories. Because when you're walking, you're mostly burning fatty acids for energy. I can't think of a more painless way of losing belly fat than walking. I have other videos that dives into the science behind this in further detail, so make sure you check them out. Tip number 5, this has been a complete game changer since I adapted this concept. No 0 days. This is what ties everything together. It's the key to making this work. A 0 day is a day where you do absolutely nothing towards your goal. I want you to think of life as binary. Binary, if you didn't know, is just 1 or 0. Either you're right, 1, or wrong, 0. Or you're doing something, 1, or you're not. 0. The idea of no 0 days is to do something every single day that moves you towards your goal, to build a string of 1s instead of 0s. For example, when life happens and you can't make it to the gym, we tend to just give up and consider that day a write-off. Once we accumulate 2 to 3 days of just doing nothing, it becomes so much easier to just give up. We magically get caught up with other things and begin to rationalize quitting altogether. Sound familiar? The way to make real lasting change is to make sure you never have a 0 day. Strive for a string of non-zeros. Read 1 page, do 1 push-up, eat 1 healthy meal, and just go from there. Anything to make sure that you're still making even the smallest progress towards your goal, because little progress is better than no progress at all, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. You might not be able to make a big leap towards your weight loss goals today, but you can take a tiny little step. Maybe you just focus on getting better sleep tonight. It might not be much, but it's a 1 and not a 0. It's still progress, because again, a 1 is much better than a 0. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I was finally able to get rid of all my unwanted body fat without depriving myself of my favorite foods or spending countless hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email and I'll send it to you right away. Hey, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week, and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Virtual high five.